I still don't know if I imagined it, if I dreamt it, or if I wasn't supposed to survive that night. But one thing's certain, whatever happened in room 313, no one wants to talk about it. It was late October when I checked into a small, older hotel just outside Pittsburgh. I'd been driving for nearly 10 hours and wanted nothing more than a quiet night's sleep before continuing my trip. Full V. The place looked dated but clean, red carpet, the kind of hotel that clung to the early 90s like it was a brand. At the front desk, I asked if they had a corner room on a high floor. The woman behind the counter tapped away at her keyboard for a while. "Room 313, she said. "Quiet end of the hall. You won't be disturbed." I didn't think anything of the strange choice of words, "you won't be disturbed," until later. The elevator groaned its way up to the 3rd floor. The hallway lights flickered a little, but everything seemed fine. Room 313 was indeed at the end of the hall, tucked away by itself. It even had a little alcove around it, like the hallway tried to forget it existed. The door creaked open. It was cold inside. Like if you reweave it in the right direction. I shivered and immediately went for the thermostat. It was set to 74. I turned it up a few degrees and rubbed my arms. As I looked around, the room was plain, neutral, beige walls, dark green curtains, off. The first time I noticed it was the silence. You know how in hotels you usually hear something? Distant doors slamming, footsteps above, TVs murmuring through walls. This room had none of that. It was so quiet, it felt unnatural, like the air itself was listening. Still, I was exhausted. I showered, got into bed, and turned off the light. That's when the real weirdness started. Around 1:30 a.m., I woke up cold again, ice cold, even though the heater was humming. The room was dark, but I could swear I saw movement by the curtains. At first I thought it was headlights flashing from the parking lot, and when I peeked outside, there were no cars. Just an empty lot, lit by flickering lamps. Then I noticed something strange about the room itself. The mirror above the dresserette wasn't showing my reflection correctly. It was delayed, like a half-second behind. I waved my hand, and the reflection hesitated before mimicking me. I laughed nervously, thinking maybe I was more tired than I realized. Then came the whisper right behind me. "Do you see it too?" I spun around. No one was there. Just the cold, empty room. I checked the bathroom, the closet. Nothing. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Occasionally, I'd think I heard shuffling from above, but I remembered room 313 was the top floor. The next morning, I packed quickly and went down to the lobby. The same woman from the night before was behind the desk. I handed her the key. "I stayed in room 313, I said, trying to sound casual. "That one single, coats, S. Really quiet." Her smile faded. She blinked, looked down at her screen, then back up at me. "I'm sorry, what room?" 313, I said again. "The corner room." She stared at me, then at a small map taped to the side of the desk. The 3rd floor was labeled with rooms. 301 through 312. "I gave you room 312, she said slowly. "There is number 313. That room was..." She stopped herself, looking suddenly nervous. "I was in 313, I said firmly. "The key card said 313. The plaque on the door. It was at the end of the hallway. She looked pale now. She picked up the phone, dialed an internal number, and turned away to whisper into it. He's saying he stayed there last night. There was a long pause, then she hung up. I'm very sorry, she said, forcing a smile. There's been a mistake. Can I offer you breakfast on the house before you go? Declined. I just wanted to get out. As I rolled my bag out to the car, I looked up at the top floor of the hotel. The windows were all identical, all except one. The farthest window on the left, the one that should have been room 330, like it had been painted over or covered with something thick. I drove off without looking back. Later that week, curiosity got the better of me. When I asked about room 330, the person on the other end then said, that room's been sealed for years. Why? A pause? Because no one ever checks out of 313. She walked past the front desk every night at 2:13 a.m. and always into a room that doesn't exist anymore. I work nights at a mid-sized hotel just outside Savannah, Georgia. It's not the fanciest place, but it's clean and quiet, mostly catering to business travelers. Graveyard shifts are usually slow. Most of my nights are spent half watching late-night TV, auditing paperwork, or helping guests who lock themselves out. So, when I first saw her, I barely registered it. A woman in a long, dark, green coat. Pale skin, shoulder length, walked straight through the lobby just after 2 a.m. Didn't say a word. She moved, like she'd done it 100 times. Confident. Automatic. I remember thinking she looked out of place. Not sketchy, just old-fashioned somehow. Like she belonged to another era. She entered the elevator and pressed the button for the second floor. About 20 minutes later, I checked the system out of curiosity. No one new had checked in that night. In room 209, the room I'd seen her enter had been under renovation for weeks. Gutted. No bed, no carpet, no door lock. It wasn't even supposed to be accessible. Figuring maybe I'd made a mistake or missed her checking in earlier, I let it go. The next night, same time. 2:13 a.m., same coat, same expression, same silence. Elevator to the second floor. Walked straight to 209. I got a little uneasy. The footage showed her clearly. There was no glitch, no trick of the light. She was there, but the system didn't T-log any door unlocks for room 209. Not just that night. I brought it up to my manager the next morning. He laughed it off, said maybe a guest wandered into the wrong room or I was misreading the system. He even joked, maybe you've got a ghost on your hands. He didn't laugh when I showed him the camera footage. We called maintenance to double room. The keypad had been physically removed, wires exposed. Even if someone had a key card, there was no way to enter. Still, every night after that 418 straight nights she came back. Always at the same time. Always in room 209. Eventually, I started waiting for her. Not out of fear, at first, but fascination. I didn't tell anyone else. It became like a personal mystery. I'd watch her walk in and disappear down the hall, then check the cameras to confirm what I saw. One night, I even waited near the hallway security feed to see if she came out. It all escalated 3 weeks in. That night, she entered the lobby at exactly 2:30, but this time, she stopped. She turned and looked right at me. Her eyes were glassy, unfocused but locked on mine. Her lips didn't move, but I felt something like a pressure behind my eyes. A lock, she was thinking, inside my head. I stood frozen, hands gripping the desk, barely breathing. Stared. Then she turned and walked to the elevator, like nothing had happened. I fell cold, hollow, like something had passed through me. That was the first time I called security. I asked someone to sweep the second floor right away. The guard radioed back 5 minutes later. "No one's up here," he said. "And room 209 is still sealed shut." But it wasn't over. Around 4 a.m., I got a call on the hotel's internal line. No number, just room 209. And again. On the fifth ring, I picked up "I wish I hadn't." There was no voice on the other end. And then, in a whisper so soft, I felt it more than heard it. I slammed the phone down. I wanted to leave, but something kept me rooted. Fear, curiosity, I don't know. I waited until sunrise, then ran to check room 209 myself. The hallway was dim, the kind of early morning dark that feels heavier than night. Room 209 was there. Door frame covered in plastic sheeting, wires dangling where the keypad should have been. But there were, faint but visible, on the dusty floor. None coming out. I pulled back the sheeting. It was pitch black, empty, cold. Except in the far corner, near where the bed used to be, I saw a dark green coat. Hanging on nothing. Just floating there. I backed away, heart pounding, and nearly ran back to the front desk. I haven't seen her since that night, but room 209 was permanently sealed 2 days later. Bolted shut. Covered in drywall. Removed from the map. No explanation. Sometimes, when I'm alone in the lobby late at night, I'll hear the elevator hum and open, because I still remember her eyes. And am still waiting for the night she comes back. Not to room 209.